Boubacar Bob Keita's alleged rape case adjourned to Monday, 25th July after an intense court proceeding. Stay tuned for the details. Egypt reimposes some of the lifted coronavirus regulations amid news spreading coronavirus waves. And South Africa's construction industry has been impacted by soaring material prices and inadequate power supply. With this and more coming ahead on The World Today. Hello, this is Eyeafrica TV and you are watching the World Today News Bulletin coming to you live from our studios in Banjul. Many thanks for joining us. I am Amadou Kante and now the news in detail. Now, the ongoing alleged rape trial at the Bundunkakunda High Court involving young Gambian businessman Boubacar Keita alias Bob Keita has been adjourned to Monday, 25th July 2022 following an intense court proceeding. Now, hundreds of Gambians including women and children stormed the Bundung court promises as early as 8 a.m. to witness the court hearing and show solidarity to the accused. And now to help us understand how today's proceedings pan out, I am being joined by our reporter, Mafuji Sise, who is just coming from the Bundung High Court. Mafuji, thank you very much for joining us, and you are just fresh from Bundung, and of course closely following and monitoring today's proceedings at the courts. We understand that the case has been adjourned to Monday, 25th of July. Can you confirm that to us, and what has been the reaction of the defense counsel?
Yes, thank you so much. As you likely mentioned, the case is adjourned to Monday for the defense to continue their submission on the stay of proceedings. It could be recalled that the judge earlier on made some order for the boyfriend, Pamodu Jom, and the accused person, Boubacar Keita, and the mother of the Fatou Ngounemba, the mother of the late Mohammed, and Mohammed himself, to their blood samples to be taken for DNA. But today's proceedings, the defense counsel really complained. The parts of their submission to the court is that the court, despite the court order on the 18th, the court order that the blood samples should be taken from all these people. They only take blood samples from these three. Yeah. That is Boubacar Keita, alias Bob Keita, the accused, that is Pamodu Jom, and the accused, the Fatou Ngounemba, that's the mother of the late Mohammed. But then he said now, 14 days since the court order, they are yet to take any blood sample from the child, which earlier on the prosecution told the court that they took some blood samples from the child when the child was on coma. But then what we find out today, what the defense said before the court is that they are yet to take any blood sample from the child. So that's where the court stands until now.
All right, you talked about Mohammed, who is also involved in all this case. Now, of course, then talking about the DNA, the police issued a statement a few days ago saying that they have contacted Sena Mumbai to swiftly repatriate the body for the DNA test. Was that discussed in the court today? Is Mohammed's body back in town?
Absolutely not. That's not discussed in the court. Okay. What we do know is that after the court's issuing of that statement, press release, that they should expedite, they are trying in contacts with the Interpols in Senegal to expedite to repatriate these people back home. Yet still, we also understand that they are not yet back home. Okay. And then the other thing is we also understand that the brother of Fatou Ngounemba who is arrested by the police in connection to the death of Mohammed. 2 of them were released.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And we are given strict bail restrictions.
Yes. All right. Now, coming back in today's proceedings, of course, let's talk about the people's interest, because as I have highlighted in the preamble that, people were there as early as 8 a.m. Overall, how was the general turnout of the people, and what were their reactions during the proceedings today?
It's quite amazing because despite my long experience in court reporting, you could relay such crowds to the politicians. But then this one turns different because thousands of people came out in their large numbers. You can see the Bundung highway towards Serakunda. It's completely blocked. All businesses around that area, including the petrol stations and all these things, they were all closed down because traffic, nobody. So when these people realized that Bob, many of them, the young people, the old people, they all realized that Bob, actually, the case is adjourned. It turns violent.
I was going to, come to that, because the government, through the government spokesperson, issued a statement urging people to restrain, calm, and not to interfere in this case proceeding, but of course, let them be mindful of, getting into issues that might create any sort of violence. And we understand there was some sort of confrontation between some of the people that were there and the security personnel. What can you tell us on that? Yes,
absolutely. Many of these young people that came, for them, today is the D-Day that Bob should be free and go home. But when they realized that Bob, the case is adjourned to Monday again for a continuation, they were angry. So they could not hold their anger. They started stones raining all over. You don't even know where the stones they were coming from. So you can see the amount of public interest to this case. Some of the people that what they are complaining is the case is long overdue.
Has been dragging for so long.
For 2 years. So what still now? Why would they? If someone is really whatsoever, there should be an expedition to the court trial. So these are some of the complaints that the public they are complaining about.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. On a final note, case again expected to resume on Monday. What are we to expect?
We expect another tension because there are a lot of people that are actually build particular interest in this case to make sure that absolutely their interest is to see Bob is being freed from all these allegations and go home.
And justice prevailed.
It prevailed.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Mafuji, for the update. He's just coming from the Bundung Kakunda High Court, and he has been our eyes and ears on this proceeding. And of course, we'll keep you abreast on all the latest developments on this. Once again, Mafuji, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And of course, the latest development on the alleged case, of course, rape case trial of Bob Kerr is that the case has been adjourned to Monday, 25th July 2022. Now, moving on, elsewhere, authorities in Egypt have reinstated some of the stringent coronavirus measures as part of efforts to stem the spreading new waves of the disease. Like in many countries, Egypt had lifted imposed COVID-19 regulation, but travel-related requirements have been brought back. The North African nation has been witnessing a gradual increase of infection, prompting officials to take remedial measures. Here's more details of that in this report.
Egyptian public transportation services have once again started broadcasting COVID-19 related instructions to their clients. The government is pushing citizens to abide by the preventive measures. This is as the country faces the 6th wave of the pandemic. Violators will pay an immediate fine of more than $2.5.
The new COVID-19 strains are transmitted faster. The BA4, the BA5, and the BA2.75. These 3 strains can spread 4 times faster than Omicron. Accordingly, the Egyptian government is taking more measures to decrease infection rates.
After cancelling all COVID-19 related travel requirements, Egyptian airport authorities are once again requesting for negative PCR tests for travelers and masking during flights. Egypt says infection rates have increased by 8% and have continuously been on the rise for more than 10 days. If infections grow further, the health ministry says it will dedicate some of its hospitals to treat COVID-19 patients.
Most cases now don't need hospitalization, but those few cases with chronic diseases might need to. Dedicating hospitals to treat COVID-19 is no longer a must. Some specialized hospitals accept COVID-19 cases as well as its regular healthcare services to the public.
Egypt is relying on vaccination as the first line of defense. So far, 35 million people have been fully vaccinated, while 49 million others have received their first COVID-19 vaccine dose. Only 6 million have gotten their first booster shot. Booster shots are so far not mandatory in Egypt. In December, the government opened the door for citizens interested in getting their third vaccine dose. This month, Egyptians have the option to get their second booster shot if they so desire.
And that report is coming from the Egyptian capital, Cairo. In other news, fresh protests have commenced in Sri Lanka following the election of six-time Prime Minister as the country's new president. It is disgruntled anti-government protesters blame the National Assembly members for electing Ransil Wickremesinghe as the country's new leader and vowed not to relent in their quest for the change of the system. Now, the islanders are frustrated over the prevailing economic challenges they are facing. Let's have more details of that in this report.
It was a three-cornered contest and all sides campaigned hard for the presidential polls held in the Sri Lankan parliament. Ranil Wickremesinghe, a six-time prime minister, came out victorious to be the president of the country after the previous president resigned earlier this month. Minutes after the announcement of the results, the anti-government protesters gathered to oppose this victory. The protesters say they will not settle till Wickremesinghe also steps down.
We are seeing the same ideals, the same values in Ranil Wickremesinghe, and now that he's in office, I don't think the people are going to tolerate him either. They rejected Gotabaya Rajapaksa, and I'm pretty sure, I'm confident in the fact that the people will reject Ranil Wickremesinghe. People are already gathering in Galle and in different parts of the country.
It is madness that parliamentarians in this country would vote for him. It is clear that their priority is not the country, their priority is consolidating power.
We are very disappointed. The people whom we sent to the parliament didn't speak behalf of us, didn't speak behalf of the people. They say Sri Lanka doesn't have dollars to buy fuel, dollars to buy diesel, dollars to buy gas. But at this moment, we see money has spoken in the parliament.
The islanders are angry as they continue to face shortage of food, fuel and medicines. The new president faces major challenges as he and his team will have to bring the country out of this economic crisis.
You are watching the World Today News Bulletin coming to you live from our studios in Banjul. This is Eyeafrica TV. And from the report there, we now take a break and come back shortly. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
The Gambia OIC Secretariat, in collaboration with the Office of the President and Imogam Hotels and Resorts, wishes to invite the general public to the foundation stone laying of a 5-star Radisson Blue Hotel by the President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency Adama Barrow, on Saturday, 23rd July 2022 at 4 p.m. The construction of a 5-star hotel is one of the key priority projects in preparation for the forthcoming OIC Heads of States and Government Summit. The hotel will have 400 rooms, including 60 presidential and royal suites. The 5-star hotel will ensure the guests receive a befitting accommodation experience. Additionally, it will diversify our tourism portfolio by providing luxurious accommodation facilities for high-end tourists. Let's come out and support this massive development.
Welcome back. This is Eyeafrica TV and you are watching the World Today News Bulletin coming to you live from our studios in Banjul. And once again, many thanks for joining us. Now, the inadequate electricity supply and increasing cost of building materials continue to disrupt the operation of South Africa's construction industry. Contractors and other stakeholders in this sector have been lamenting over the situation amid the huge losses they incur during this period. Now, while construction projects are ongoing in some parts of the country, a significant number of jobs are also being lost between 2017 and 2022. Here's more details of that in this report.
Construction is a high-risk, low-margin industry. Proper planning and costing is essential, but even the best laid-out plans can be derailed.
As a result of COVID, a lot of the supply of furniture fitting equipment and a lot of the equipment coming out of China was delayed. 3 weeks or 4 weeks for a container, and the price would have been at $4,000 a container.
Global supply was disrupted again this year. The Russia-Ukraine conflict is not only causing shipping delays, it's also pushed oil prices to record highs.
The lead times to get the chairs that you're sitting on went from 3 to 4 weeks to between 6 and 9. The price of the container was going up to about $16,000, $17,000 a container. The original costs that you cater for initially when you start a project 3-4 years ago have considerably gone through the roof.
South Africa's electricity crisis has been an added strain.
We have 4 generators in the building just so that we can keep the power on with regards to backup generation. So keeping the heat pumps going, keeping the elevators going. It's a lot. It's around about 2,000 litres of petrol. We eat that up in every 2 weeks. It's a considerable cost that is incurred by the business. The crisis that Eskom is creating with load shedding.
Contractors are suffering huge financial losses, especially on projects that were commissioned some time ago. With rising costs, it's become increasingly difficult for construction companies to manage their spend. In some cases, some projects are almost double the cost by the time of completion. Between 2017 and 2020, 118,000 jobs were lost in the construction industry.
The only time we had a positive growth in the sector on an annual basis in real terms was actually in 2016 when we recorded a growth of 1.4%. Since then, the sector has been on a decline. 2021, we also had a decline of about 2.2%. This is a sector which relies on raw material from the manufacturing sector. And then the manufacturing sector itself is also being hit in terms of the energy fuel cost.
Plenty of construction is still on the go across Johannesburg, mostly feeding the demand for shopping and housing, making this an increasingly expensive city to live in.
And from the report there in South Africa, on to our final story now, because prices of used cars have increased more than 15% in Uganda, forcing vehicle buyers to struggle to acquire their vehicle of choice. Car dealers in this African country attributed the surge in cost of several factors, including government's levied taxes on imported cars. The government's ban on the importation of cars that are older than 25 years is also believed to be affecting the car business industry. Let's have more details of that in this report.
Nancy Mijumbi has been on a car hunt for months. Finally, she has settled for this, a Japanese make. But she says it has cost her an arm and a leg.
It has been high, yeah. Only that it is the choice I wanted, I had to go for it. But it has increased a lot.
The past few months have not been a good time to buy a car. The price tag on a car like this was about $8,000 4 months ago. It is now $2,000 more. a price buyers are struggling to pay. Hafiz Muhammad, a car dealer, says what is driving up the prices is the taxes levied on imported cars, the high dollar rate and a drop in supply of cars from Asia.
There is a big issue for containers. Before, for one container we were paying there $2,000. Nowadays we can't get in same container even $7,000. And one container can keep like 4 to 5 units.
A ban on car imports older than 15 years has also affected business. Vehicles manufactured before 2008 cannot be imported into the country. Motor experts say that is leaving buyers with limited options.
People actually now revolting to buying old cars because the money is not enough and it's what they can actually afford, meaning not many people are going to the bond to buy new cars.
The dealers admit the prices are less likely to drop anytime soon. That means it may take a while before buyers can see some relief.
There is only one solution. They will get to use the prices and they have to understand.
But it remains a tough choice on which car to buy and at how much.
And that report from Kampala, Uganda, brings us to the end of this news edition. But for more details on this and other stories, as always, as ever, you can visit on our website on Eyeafrica.tv. But for now, many thanks for the privilege of your company. Thanks for watching and to have a pleasant evening. Bye for now.